let's dive into the debate of yet another number one facing number 262. It seems it's going to be a narrative that's going to be tied to Brock Purdy's career until he hangs him up every time he faces Trevor Lawrence or Baker Mayfield or Bryce Young or any of these guys who were picked number one. You see the stats from the season. It's a short span for Brock. It's a short sample size. I think these are two massively underrated quarterbacks, Jen. How do you think they're both similar and different?
I think because of Brock Purdy, and I think one of those things about top draft picks is that a lot of times they've had a really nice, successful high school career. They've had a really successful college career, and they haven't had to grind it out as much as Brock Purdy has. I think that's what you see as a quality of Brock. I mean, Sam Darnold said, I learned how to prepare from Brock Purdy because he may not have all the physical measurables that you've seen from other quarterbacks that go at number one. He's had to work harder. And you notice that hard work when you see how he can read defenses. You see how he prepares like he's going to play every single week. He prepares for practice like he's going to play a game. I think all of those things that he does off the field benefit him when he gets on the field and he's ready to go. And you saw it in Arizona for sure.
I'm going to go with the differences between the two. I always look at yards per attempt. Brock Purdy, all right, 7.9 yards per attempt. That's basically right at his average. When things are going well, Brock Purdy is 8 yards per attempt flat. When things are going well, that's 8, 9, sometimes 9 yards per attempt. With Bryce Young, 6.2 yards per attempt. That is, even without having to look it up, that's easily near the bottom tier in terms of all the starting quarterbacks. So what does this tell you? Once again, with Brock Purdy, when he's in there, he's pushing that thing downfield. So, I mean, to me, that's the extra dimension that he brings. And listen, great year for Bryce Young, nice young quarterback. I hope things work out for him. But there's levels to this stuff. And I know you're not saying this, Carlos, but Young, he ain't where Purdy is at this point.
Yeah, I guess there's a stat that I want to have both your takes on this, because I really don't know what to make of this, the famous game-winning drive for quarterbacks in the fourth quarter or overtime. I bring it up because Bryce Young has 10 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime in his career. That's 84% of the wins he have come via the fourth quarter or overtime drive. So, Jen, you first. What is a stat? How do you read into that? How do you analyze that specific stat for Young and in general for quarterbacks?
I mean, in general for quarterbacks, it's being able to perform when the pressure's on. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is known for having that game-winning drive. You don't want to give him any more than 40 seconds in that final drive, and maybe even less because of what his potential is to drive the ball down the field and score in the final minute of a game. So if Bryce Young already has that quality, I would say that's definitely a key factor for him going forward. If the Panthers can take advantage of that, that means that they could pull out a win that they might not. And so it's definitely important for defenses to take note of that. Mac Jones is a guy who actually plays better, I think, when it's that fast-paced, no-huddle rhythm, moving the ball, that 2-minute drill. Some quarterbacks thrive in it and others don't, and Bryce Young is definitely one that does.
No, that's a very impressive stat. And what that tells me is that he knows that he has a team around him that believes if they're in a position to where they can win the game late, they're going to win the game late. And clearly that's a trait that every quarterback wants to have, for their team to know that they can count on them in those situations.
I guess the flip side is that stat also says he's either not efficient at the beginning of the games or he's in a bad defensive team that he needs to rally behind on the offensive side and carry them to the – because think about this. If 84% of your wins have come that way and it's 10, that's not many wins. So we'll see what happens on Monday Night Football with the 49ers and Bryce Young